Hey, what is going on, guys? It's Joel here with as many reviews as possible, and today we're doing the first impression video of the Nano 7.0. Alright guys, so for this first impression video, I brought the whole collection in, starting with the original U-form, probably one of my favorite colorways, the Game of Death. My first pair of CrossFit shoes ever, the Nano 2.0s, the cult favorite Nano 3.0s, my custom Nano 4.0s, which seem to be everybody's favorite Nano, the Nano 5.0, which seems to be probably the least favorite Nano that anyone has, and then quite possibly the greatest training shoe of all time, the Nano 6.0. So that's going to be a hard act to follow for the Nano 7.0. But I have high hopes for this shoe. It is probably the most controversial Nano yet. When the Nano 7.0 was accidentally leaked, I posted it up, and this has probably gotten the most hate out of any shoe that I have ever covered, and I think it's really just due to just the colorway. I don't actually think it looks all that bad. Personally, I like loud colorways like this, but I can see where people could hate on this shoe because the Nano 6 design was excellent and had some of the best colorways for any Reebok CrossFit Nano shoe to date. So first, let's go over the way that the Nano 7 looks. So this is definitely the most different looking Nano series shoe to date. And it's because of the lines that they've chosen to take with the Nano. They're a little bit more, I want to say, symbiotic, and it's almost like organic looking. The lines are a little bit more rounded, and the shoe overall is a little bit more bulbous looking. The upper now has the nano weave over a synthetic fabric, and that's just their new exoskeleton for the shoe, just like the nano shell before and then the Kevlar after that. This is just their protective layer for the Nano 7. Now this is where I think the colorways of the Nano 7 could get interesting, is because there's so many little pieces here and there that you can change the color of. You can change the nano weave, you can change this front part, this rear area, the TPU heel counter, the midsole, and the outsole. So there's a lot of different things that you can change on the Nano 7. The next thing that we have is this external TPU heel counter, which is kind of the trend. You're going to see it on the new Nike Metcon, but if you feel around in any of the Nano series shoes around the heel, there's going to be a TPU heel counter. It's just embedded inside of the shoe. The external bit is just a new thing that people are doing, and really it's just there to hold your heel in place, but also to increase slide up the walls when you're doing handstand push-ups. Now the next big change for the Nano 7.0 is the outsole pattern, which follows the lines of the Nano 7, and it kind of has that, once again, symbiotic, organic kind of look. The difference is pretty noticeable between the Nano 6.0 and Nano 5.0. This tread pattern really hasn't changed all that much in the last couple of years. But you're going to see multi-directional patterning on the forefoot and on the heel. And then you've got this nice ribbed area. And this should increase traction on the rope. Meta split grooves as of old. And from just walking around, I did a light workout in these shoes yesterday. Grip is really actually awesome in the Nano 7.0s. So that's excellent. The drop on the Nano 7.0 remains a 4mm drop, as it was on every Nano series shoe before it. except the Nano 5.0, which had a 3mm drop, which I kind of liked, but it's not that big of a difference between a 4mm drop. The insole is the exact same thing, has not changed from the Nano 6.0 to the Nano 7.0, which is a good thing. I like the very minimal insole. So let's talk a little bit about what I think about the Nano 7.0. I actually don't think it's a bad looking shoe. I think the design's pretty cool. I think the colorway could be changed, and I think the way that Reebok was going with the Nano 7.0 is any publicity is good publicity. And in the future, I believe that Reebok's gonna come out with some better colorways for the Nano 7.0. Obviously, you're gonna see a black and gum colorway, I promise you. There's no way that they won't do that one again. As far as performance goes, I did a light workout yesterday of clean and jerks and front squats, and the 7.0 performed excellent. Once again, I think the grip is excellent on the shoe. The platform largely remains the same, but there's one thing that is much different, in my opinion, than all of the other Nano series shoes, and it's that the Nano 7.0s are taller. They are less minimal than any of the other Nano series shoes before it. Another thing that I am kind of undecided on about the Nano 7 is the flexibility. I feel like they've taken a step backwards as far as the flexibility goes. So the forefoot flexibility and the Nano Weave shell kind of creates these weird creases in the front, and initially people were talking about the toe box of the Nano 7 being narrow and the shoe is a little bit smaller and that you should size up, but I sized this as a 10 like all of my other Nano series shoes, and I feel like that's the way to go. I feel like the narrowness that they're talking about is actually just the Nano Weave shell just kind of crumpling weird in certain areas. Compared to the forefoot flexibility of the 6, I think it's a little bit backwards. But it could still be breaking in, so that's why I'm going to say I'm undecided there. Now, as far as what is the better shoe, is the Nano 6.0 a better shoe, is the Nano 7.0 a better shoe, is the Nike Metcon 3 a better shoe? That I am still coming up with a conclusion to. The Nano 6.0, like I said before, is in my opinion one of the greatest training shoes of all time, and it's one of my favorite shoes, still one of my favorite shoes. So the Nano 7.0 has some big shoes to fill, and right now I don't know if I can say that the Nano 7.0 is a better shoe. There are certain things that I like about it, and there are certain things that I don't like about it, mainly the flexibility issue and the fact that it's a little bit taller than all the Nanos. I really like Nanos because they're minimalist and they're close to the ground. You get a lot of ground feel with the Nano series shoes, and you always have. And the Nano 7.0 kind of has that taken away. You still have the power launch toe box, and you can kind of feel it. There's a little bit more room for toe splay, but the platform is a little bit taller, and I'm not sure I like that with the Nano 7.0. And like I said though, I haven't spent a whole lot of time with this shoe just yet. I only did a few movements with it, and I can't really comment on the overall performance of the shoe. The easiest thing to say when Nanos come out is it's the best shoe of the series yet. And I don't know if I can call it that just yet. I know that's what Reebok's dubbing it, and a lot of people that have been helping market the shoe have been saying that. But the Nano 6 was an excellent shoe, excellent shoe, and I don't know if I can say that about the Nano 7 yet. But once again, this is just the first impression video. If you guys want to see the Nano 7 in action, make sure you guys follow my Instagram, as many reviews as possible. And if you guys have any questions about the Nano 7.0, feel free to leave them in the comment section. I'm always down to answer questions, also on my Instagram account. If you guys like this video, make sure you give it a thumbs up. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. And as always guys, thanks for watching.